If you want to avoid getting a Section 3 or suspended on Amazon moving forward from here or even into next year, please watch this video. I did not want to make this video, but if it just helps one person not get suspended moving forward, it will be worth it to me. I recently got a DM from someone asking me if they should buy someone's inventory that got restricted / hard gated or Section 3'd or whatever. Because they are ungated and not hard gated to sell on Amazon, and because they were going to get a good deal on it, yada, yada, yada. Honestly, I think that is the quickest and easiest way to get suspended or a Section 3 in the future. It's just so obvious, and it's kind of sad. I'm going to break down a bunch of things why I'm thinking this way, because everything sounds so good. You see it on Twitter. You'll say, oh, I'm going to give you invoices. I'm going to give you proof if you ever have an issue, yada, yada, yada. Same thing on Instagram. Hey, I got a pallet of this. I'll prep it for you. No additional charge. Everything sounds so great until the shit hits the fan. So, number one, I would say this inventory already has a red flag on it. There's someone that's like, okay, just think about it from my perspective. Let's just say for me, I got a Section 3. I can no longer sell Nike, Converse, Puma, whatever. And my podcast host, Drew, is like, you know what? I was like, Drew, do you want to buy this stuff? He's like, yeah, sure. So what's going to happen? I have all my stuff at Amazon. I'm going to do a removal order to Drew, whether it's at his house or his prep center or whatever. And then Drew is going to send it in to Amazon to sell. Do you not think Amazon is not going to put this together? The fact that my account sent it to Drew's address as a removal order, and then that Amazon account sends the same exact quantity of the stuff that I removed, like, they're obviously going to put that together. And then to say, oh, well, I'll make you an invoice showing that this stuff is legit. So JMM Enterprises, I'll make you an invoice in Canva. And yeah, it will be totally fine. It just makes no sense, guys. We got to think this stuff through. If this person cannot prove with legit receipts and retail receipts and invoices and all this other stuff to Amazon, do you really think an invoice they make in Canva is going to help you? God forbid you get caught with an inauthentic or anything like that. It is not, and it is not worth the risk. I mean, you have to make the decisions for your own business, but I am talking about for me personally, and I have been through this in a different situation when it came to books. So I got sued by a textbook company for selling counterfeit textbooks. I was not selling counterfeit textbooks. I actually bought them from a student on Facebook Marketplace, and they definitely were not moving counterfeit textbooks. I could tell you that much. And what happened? I had to remove all the other textbooks. I did not be like, hey, other Amazon sellers, does anyone want to buy all my restricted textbooks and, take a risk on them? I don't have any invoices for you. I bought most of these locally or at thrift stores or anything like that. And if you get caught, like, I'll try to make you an invoice or whatever. It's just not going to work. Now, someone named Avery Martin, Romer the Romer, came up with restrictedinventory.com, which was a service to take that kind of burden on, and he took a lot of risk on for that, but he knew what he was getting into, so I have no problem doing that. The website was literally called restrictedinventory.com. So just know that, like, going into that, if you do not have legit invoices, you are going to get caught. And trust me, when Amazon even if they say, oh, JMM Enterprises, that sounds legit. They're going to look for a website, and guess what? There's going to be no website. Or if there is a website, they'll be like, oh, this has only been up 20 days. This is kind of weird. Can you tell me who owns JMM Enterprises? John Muscarello. This is the address. Huh. Funny, that matches his Amazon account address as well. You don't think they're going to put that together? So please, please, please think about this stuff. Again, make your own decision. Another thing to think about with this is if you are stuck in this situation, I feel for you. I am so sorry that this happened to you. It's unfair. It is, I mean, I've not in the situation, knock on wood, but I can only imagine what I'd be thinking if I was in that situation. But on the flip side of that, feeling how shitty I would be feeling, I would never want to, maybe I'm a bad business person, but I would never want to put someone else's account potentially in the same position I am in. If I sold Drew $30,000 worth of inventory, he sends it to Amazon, and then he gets suspended a month later, to be honest, I'd feel terrible. I could make the argument like, oh yeah, like he knew what he was getting into. I told him, you know, an invoice for me may or may not work, whatever. But like, it's just a shitty thing to do to another person, especially in the community. Again, if someone's offering to buy the inventory, be like, hey, like if you are gated and I'm willing to buy it, like fine, go find that person and give it to them. But if you're the one trying to push and be like, hey, I got all this great inventory for sale, yada, 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 I don't know. That's just a tough take. That's probably a very unpopular take. I might get shit in the comments for that, but it is what it is. I just could not do that personally. One thing I think people could do that they're really not doing, I feel like at this point, Amazon has made their decisions, whether or not you're going to be able to sell it or not. Yes, maybe tagging them on Twitter, making a LinkedIn post and all that kind of stuff. But if you've been doing that for the last 4 to 6 weeks and you haven't gotten any traction, not to say you won't eventually, but it's time to make some decisions. Like Q4 is literally, we're a third into it. There's only 2/3 left. Now could be a good time. I would probably, instead of looking at Amazon sellers, one, I'd look at Walmart. Can you sell Nike on Walmart? Is that feasible? What does that look like? Two, I'd be looking at big Poshmark sellers, big eBay sellers. There are some really big people out there. I can't think of the name. I think it's like Techno something. He's like one of the biggest eBay sellers. I know he does a lot of apparel. There's other people on Instagram that are big. Maybe you could work out a 50-50 split, or just tell them what happened. Be like, listen, I have all the receipts for this stuff. You know, Amazon screwed me over. I'm sure they're very aware of the situation. And then if they want to take on the risk, it is not as risky to like kind of take on this inventory and move it on something like eBay or another platform, especially if it's just like Nike socks, hoodies, sweatpants, stuff like that. Or like there are some big whatnot sellers out there. I would say think outside the box and don't necessarily be like, oh, another Amazon seller has to sell this stuff. Now, obviously, you're going to have to take a bigger loss on that. If, you know, you can't sell it to an Amazon seller, or maybe the margin is there, or maybe it isn't. I don't really know. But try to think outside the box, think of other options, and then bigger picture, even if you do get ungated again, definitely come up with a different business plan. Like, don't double down. Like, this stuff happened back in September. And then it turned out to be a glitch, supposedly, but like maybe it really wasn't a glitch because it happened again, what, 30 days later, 45 days later? So just kind of take that with a grain of salt and be like, listen, like, okay, this is great. I got ungated. I'm going to sell through all this stuff and then never buy this stuff again. I don't know. That is just kind of my thoughts and feelings on it. Again, I love the Amazon community. I don't want to see anyone's account get suspended. I hate the position that Amazon put these other people in with gating them and hard gated them, especially in Q4 after they're really, really deep in inventory. It just really, really sucks all around. But just be smart. Even if there's rock bottom prices and stuff like that, yeah, if you want to sell it on eBay and other options, Facebook Marketplace, or you know, a liquidator or something like that, sure, great. But to move to just have, I don't know, I could be a total conspiracy theorist, but the idea of you removing inventory from Amazon and sending it to another seller, they are definitely going to connect those two accounts. Whether you have issues or not, I don't know, but it's Amazon. If they're already rejecting you for sending legit invoices, you don't think they're going to connect the two accounts. So just a word of advice, stay safe out there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.